Is this Elon Musk being Musk and just being temperamental, or is he serious about moving a 10,000 square foot manufacturing facility and all its employees out of state?
Well, look, first, this is a 10 million square foot facility. So that's not an easy thing to move. But what's going on here at the top level? First, Elon Musk loves brinksmanship. Kind of reminds me of the guy in the White House. He lives for that, and he's always seeking every marginal advantage. He is dying to get the Tesla manufacturing plant up and running again. The reality is it's not easy to move a 10 million square foot facility. They've built a state-of-the-art manufacturing plant. That's precisely what gives them an edge over the others. That would be awfully hard to do. Plus, you'd have to ask yourself, what if Mr. Musk actually did move the manufacturing facility to Texas? And let's just say, because you do have 10,000 people working inside one large building, what if the coronavirus were to break out there after day 11 of opening? They'd be right back in the soup with a lockdown again. So I don't see that, but I respect Mr. Musk is always pushing the envelope. That's part of why Tesla does well. I don't think the state of California will be backing down on that one. We'll see.
I can't imagine, Tim Higgins, that there are vacant 10 million square foot manufacturing facilities just waiting for Elon to move his operations in Texas or Nevada. Do you think this is just, as Steve says, Mr. Musk's predilection for confrontation and brinksmanship?
Well, he couldn't move it today and he couldn't move it tomorrow, but maybe long term he could refocus the company in a place like Texas, where you see state and local leaders chomping at the bit to get this kind of thing done. And look, Toyota did it a few years ago. But today, you look at Elon Musk, and he's looking at Michigan, where the governor there has allowed manufacturing to begin this week. GM, Ford, Chrysler, they're going to start production next week. And it's clear that he is anxious to join them in those ranks.
What is your insight, Steve, as a former California state controller, about the internal politics of this and whether this kind of threat would play? Obviously, it is county officials who are being called on the carpet by Mr. Musk here, not state officials. But what is your sense of their malleability to Mr. Musk's urging them to let him reopen?
Well, look, California is the world's 5th largest economy. So I don't think they're impressed. Again, as you've discussed, there are not a lot of 10 million square foot facilities out there. Just for the viewers to get a handle around this, a Costco is 100,000 square feet. This was the equivalent of 100 Costcos side by side by side. So that would be awfully tough to move. But there's a broader question here, and that is California led the nation, was one of the first places to do the lockdown. In the Bay Area, where I live and where the Tesla headquarters is, came a few days before the state. And as a result, we have bent the curve on the coronavirus. We're down lower than virtually any place in the country. And it just raises the question, would we rather have handled this like New York did or some other state? And I think the answer is no, we've handled it right. The other part of the story is California is now in the process, in an orderly way, of opening up. We think that's the right strategy out here. It looks like most people will be going back to work in the beginning of June. That's just 2.5 weeks away. So I think, what is this all about? It's about, can Mr. Musk get another few days of manufacturing in? I respect his trying. I expect the state and the county to say no. Long term, may Mr. Musk try to move some manufacturing to cheaper states? That happens a lot. We've seen that before with a lot of companies. California continues to innovate and start new ones. And as they get bigger, sometimes they move to other states with a lower cost.
Tim, let me turn to you and get you to comment on the decline in sales in China of a key model. I think it was the Model 3 over there in a most recent month compared with the prior month and a year ago and so forth. What does that tell you about Tesla and its competitive stance or posture in China, where they are trying to ramp up their own rechargeable electric vehicles?
Well, I think it's a little too early to say, just because the first quarter results were very strong and were part of the reason the company was able to squeak out a surprise profit. The issue that Tesla has is that its results on a month-to-month basis are very lumpy in a way that other automakers aren't. And that China factory is new. So we still don't have a year's worth of data to understand exactly how the delivery pattern is going to play out going forward. In the past, they've tended to favor delivering at the end of the quarter. So it might be too early to say at this point.